and welcome to the Anime Explorations Podcast, a monthly anime book club podcast where we watch anime series, movies, and so on, and talk about them. And I'm Alex.
I'm Tora.
I'm David.
And before we start off with our usual discussion, we like to talk about what we're currently watching and general anime news stuff. So with the fall anime season wrapping up, what have you been enjoying?
We're still watching Spy Family as a family, which is actually really fun.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
We just watched Zenshu, which is not new, but it is absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed it a great deal. Had to recommend it to all my animator friends as well.
Finishing up the season of Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Rider, which is really well done, but I'm gonna have to check out the source because there's some interesting character designs in here.
Absolutely wild.
Yeah, source manga. I'm watching it's old, but watching with my son King of Braves Gao Gaigar.
Nice.
And I'm mocking it relentlessly.
Deservedly so.
But honestly, in a happy, fun way.
Yeah. Like it's so silly because we're still in the first half before things get before changes occur.
I have seen that. I have not watched Gao Gaigar Final yet. I do have the Discotheque Media releases for both the regular show and Gao Gaigar Final. I really reason I haven't watched Gao Gaigar Final yet is because I wanted to get a full rewatch of Better Man first. From what I understand, the two franchises intersect in some respects.
They do, but there's a straight up crossover that was supposed to be animated, but eventually just got released as a novel. King of Braves Gao Gaigar vs. Better Man. Waiting to finish my rewatch of Better Man before I also advance onwards.
Yeah.
Crossing the streams.
Well, they're like explicitly in the same universe.
Yep.
Which is weird because all the Brave series are in their own. And rewatching Gao Gaigar, and I will eat, like, I know it shares some designers with, mecha designers with Transformers. I will eat one of my mini sweaters if it doesn't have the same mecha designer as Car Robots did. Because it's like, that's Optimus. That is Car Robots Optimus. It's even a fire truck.
Mechanical design being relevant to our subject today.
Yes.
Indeed. I've similarly been so actually I've watched Zenshu with my parents. They liked it a lot. And also still watching Spy Family with my parents as well. They're enjoying that. I've been liking A Mangaka's Weirdly Wonderful Workplace. I've continued watching that. Been enjoying Digimon Beat Break.
Oh,
also, I've been liking, like, my status as an assassin obviously exceeds the heroes of the isekai anime for me to pick up this year. I'm glad I picked that one up, not just in terms of the visuals, but the way the series is more contemplative in terms of the whole isekai situation. As I mentioned last episode, like, this is an isekai series where the main character is like, this person, this is a person. This thing what I'm fighting is a person able to hold a conversation with me. I don't feel comfortable killing that. Not even in like the heat of battle. And with his like very legitimate reasons as to like and well considered reasons as to why. That's something that some shows don't do very well, or just something that they just don't consider in the first place. So, again, glad that they have that.
My favorite isekai is the webtoon The Greatest Estate Developer, which I really hope gets animated one day. it's insanely good, and it does kind of what you're talking about, where it actually thinks through, like, if you go to another world and you're an actually decent person, like, what what are you gonna do?
You're welcome.
Yeah, David found it.
All right.
It's so good.
It is good, and it's almost over now.
Sad face.
Yeah. So with my parents, we have started watching Haikyuu.
Ah!
Yay! Haikyuu's so fun.
Yeah, so
I learned so much about the rules of volleyball.
So much. All my volleyball knowledge comes from Haikyuu.
Indeed, like my dad's not really into sports in general, but we have watched some sports adjacent show or just some sports shows which he's enjoyed Moripon. Moripon. We've enjoyed it's not an actual like sport, but he enjoyed watching Girls Unter Panzer. So like, okay, let's like, this one's on my watch list. I have enough of an understanding about it that it doesn't go into gross spaces, which some sports anime can. So let's give this a go and see what he thinks. And he's enjoyed it. He's enjoying it so far. We're still very early. We're like 6 episodes in. And I know there's a lot to go, but so far he's been enjoying it.
We actually took our son to the last movie that they released.
Yeah.
We went to the theater to see it. It was fun.
Yeah. Because
they finished up the series with Story Left to Go, and I think they're finishing it with movies.
very gradually.
Gradually.
But of course, the series kind of came out in the same way.
Yeah.
But yeah, our son enjoyed it so much he started playing volleyball now.
Absolute win from a parent's perspective.
That's
Got my
good.
kid into sports.
That's good, and hopefully he manages to avoid the receiving the ball into his face problem. Which
I feel like everyone who plays volleyball has to go through that at least once.
It's gonna happen.
But hopefully not.
All right. So, a few minor news stories. We'll get the sad one out of the way first. Since our last recording, Tomomichi Nishimura, Japanese voice actor, passed away. He was 79. He's been in a lot of fairly major roles. He is, or was, the voice of, to use the fighting game fandom parlance, Dictator for the Street Fighter franchise. That would be M. Bison in English and Vega everywhere else. He was the voice of Yamatov Haimam in the Gundam franchise, among numerous other things. And also Detective Matsui in the Patlabor franchise. It's probably why he ended up being the the Japanese dub voice for Detective Robbins. No, because Detective Robbins is the medical examiner, but yeah, still fits, from CSI. And so, like, I've listened to the Japanese audio for a bunch of shows he worked on. He was a good voice actor. My condolences to his family.
Rest in peace.
Yep. On the lighter note, so how familiar are you with Kiya Asamiya, the manga artist?
Not very.
Name sounds familiar. What have they done?
Steam Detectives, Silent Mobius, and Martian successor Nadesco.
I'm actually rewatching Nadesco right now.
He also did the episode 1, Star Wars episode 1 manga, and did the manga Batman Child of Dreams. And the last one is particularly appropriate because he is doing a collaboration or a crossover comic with Silent Mobius and the Avengers. He because fits in because he also has done some work with Marvel in the past. He did art for a run of, I believe, Uncanny X-Men, I want to say. And I think actually his run is going to be probably approaching eminently on the Jay and Miles Explain the X-Men podcast. So, and now this is the first time one of his series, Silent Mobius, is getting a crossover with Western comics. So I'm interested to see how this will turn out.
That is cool.
I own physical copies of all of Silent Mobius because the anime ends somewhat abruptly with like the main characters heading out to go to the final battle, which is. But I watched
that choice.
Yeah, I was watching it like that was deeply frustrating. So I ended up leading to me reading the manga. The manga's interesting. In terms of a sort of cyberpunk mysticism crossover thing. And I enjoyed it, but there are aspects of it where it is clearly clearly a work of its time. By which I mean, there was a stripe of what I would call a stripe of feminism in the 1980s into the 90s, which we now would recognize as being very gender essentialist, that depicted part of the root, like it was a very female-centric, female-focused, female superiority aspect that puts a lot of emphasis on the maternal aspects of femininity as being a strength. This came up a lot in late 80s, early 90s Wicca, from the people I knew in that community and that sort of thing. And that comes up very heavily in Silent Mobius. And it's one of the things where it's like, because I wasn't active in those circles, but I knew people who were, I can read it and understand that, like, in the time, this is actually like this comes across like if you look at it in a early 90s, late 80s lens, it feels somewhat progressive. You look at it at a 21st century lens, like it's not depicting any trans characters in a negative light. It's not depicting any trans characters as derisively, but it's certainly not being necessarily like aggressively actively turfy. But it is still like it's putting a lot more focus on biological femininity, and also in ways which feels exclusive to women who can't have kids or no longer can have kids or that sort of thing.
It's insane the amount of cultural conditioning and stuff that goes into and around having kids. It was a huge whammy for me when we were trying to get pregnant way back when. And I had issues that we overcame eventually to have our son, but man, there is this deep-rooted cultural nonsense that, like, if you can't, then your body is not doing what you're supposed to do, and what's the point of you? Like, it is insane.
Yeah, and the thing is with Silent Mobius is like that, like the original series ended in like the mid-90s, like early to mid-90s, and they did sequel series later, but like those sequel series haven't been translated into English. Udon Entertainment did a license rescue of it in like around 2009, but they didn't finish that run, and presumably they did a new translation, but that's not like they stopped short before it got into those elements of it in terms of the pregnancy and that sort, like the maternity aspects of it, and so that's something that potentially actually the later translation might have addressed that, but it never got to there. So Like, we don't know I can't say how well things have evolved with within the Silent Mobius franchise on this. So that's why I'm interested. I'm not. I certainly I'm going to pick this, put this on my pull list at my local comic shop. But I don't know. This is I'm not hyper enthusiastic about it necessarily. I'm not going to go recommending it to anyone. Like, oh yes, you got to read this kind of thing.
Fair enough.
Oh, one last little thing that I watched, and this actually ties into our current thing. And by the time this episode goes up, I will have my review for the anime Secret Santa, which I took part in, which this year was, I believe, being organized by the crew at the Third Impact Anime podcast. Among my picks, the one I went with was a short piece, which is the most recent of the anthology films that Katsuhiro Otomo has worked on. And I'll have my full thoughts on that. And I'll discuss a bit of that later when we get into the main part of the episode in terms of structuring the structure of anthology films. But I enjoyed it. It was very well done. I think tonally, Robot Carnival works better in a lot of respects. If you enjoy Robot Carnival, or if you hear what we have to say about it and then you watch it and enjoy it, I would certainly recommend seeing a short piece. It is currently available for streaming on High Dive and, at least in the US, on Canopy if your library participates with that service. It's also nice and short. It's just under an hour, or about an hour. But it is definitely more tonally dark than Robot Carnival is. And with that, seems like a decent enough place to get into Robot Carnival itself.
Sci-Fi Channel presents Adventures in Japanese Animation. You've never seen anything like it. The energy, the imagination, the beauty. Those who know call it anime. You'll call it amazing. The Sci-Fi Channel Global Showcase presents the American television premieres of Robot Carnival, Lensman, and Vampire Hunter D. Your adventure begins with Robot Carnival. A visual array of pictures, moments.
For what purpose do I exist?
I never programmed you to say those words.
Images of entering into a strange new reality. Robot Carnival. Next.
So, real quick background, because we don't get into this, because it's worth mentioning a few bit of notes of this. Robot Carnival, as again, it's an anthology film. It was put together by another Pushpin production, or Pushpin planning project, or something like that. I forget, APPP. And a lot of the staff on this were animators who had limited directorial experience, but had been working on other projects. Katsuhiro Otomo had done animation work on Harmageddon at this point, in addition to his various manga. A lot of the other people on this had done principal animation work, but hadn't directed their own things. Some of these will indeed go on later to direct their own stuff, and we'll get to them as we get to each story. And it is generally a series individual short standalone animated stories, mostly dialogue free. There's 2 stories that have any dialogue in them. So if you're thinking, looking for something to watch around kids and worried about them not being able to follow reading along with subtitles, if you don't want to put on dub, don't worry about it. It's mostly dialogue free. The ones that are not a lot of dialogue, but otherwise fine. Though some of these are probably stories I'll honestly say are too slow for kids. A couple of them might be considered too slow for kids. The U.S. release of this is interesting. It was released in the U.S. by Streamline Productions, with its first screening in Portland, Oregon, in 1991 on
Portland
at Cinema 21, which is still in business. I was in Portland, like, oh, was this at the Hollywood Theater? Sadly, no. But and this was originally planned as or released in Japan as a OAV, but all the elements of it were done on film. But this meant that the order of the segments had to be re-edited to make them work for a film release, specifically so that each segment fit all this. There were no segments that were bridged across reels, basically. For physical film reels. When this film got a release later again on Laserdisc, they had to reorder it one more time for similar reasons, so that you weren't flipping over the Laserdisc in between segments. So, I can't watch this on Blu-ray because I have the Discotheque Media Blu-ray release, and I have the order up. So might as well discuss this kind of in order. We're not going to just we normally don't do recaps, but because this is an anthology film, it worked better in this way. So we start off with our frame narrative, which is directed by Katsuhiro Otomo and features the titular Robot Carnival.
So Otomo-san is the guy who did Akira, just so everybody's on the same page. Very important figure. The frame story was actually my favorite in the whole anthology.
It seemed the strongest. Not that other ones weren't good, although, we'll get to my feelings on subsequent bits. But yeah, Robot Carnival, the framing device, beautifully animated. It was telling a story. You could get so much of the background just from, the backgrounds.
From the backgrounds, the design. A lot of the kind of post-apocalyptic desert landscapes of the short reminded me of Mobius comics, or bande dessinée in general, really, but mostly Mobius. And a lot of just really good visual storytelling going on in terms of the environment, what people look like, and the emptiness of it. It's pretty obviously post-apocalyptic right away. And then
we don't know that. It could just be Australia.
It could be Australia.
It's like Mad Max isn't a post-apocalyptic. It's just an Australia
it's
biopic.
Just Australia. Oh man, the design of the carnival itself is so cool because it literally has enormous letters that say Robot Carnival on it.
It is basically this. It is basically this village out in the middle of nowhere that more or less gets attacked by the main title card.
Yeah, it comes through and it's like, time to party, everybody! But its version of partying is firing all the missiles.
That's the thing. It's it isn't an active malevolent thing.
It's not malicious at all.
Uncaring in the destruction it leaves in its wake.
Yep.
That's not a bomb. That's not a cannon. That's a firework that's so old it's not, properly functioning.
There's an amazing absurdist vibe to it that I really did.
It was delightful, yes.
Yeah.
For having seen some of Otomo's other work, like with Memories and Order to Stop Construction from Labyrinth Tale, Akira the manga is this big, long, sweeping, epic, cyberpunk, post-apocalyptic, and then post-apocalyptic again story. But a lot of his shorter stories have this very darkly comic narrative style to them. And this really fits with that sort of black comedy style that comes up with a lot of his other stuff.
But it's well calculated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the timings of everything have to be precise so that right up until the last moment where someone gets like blown up, even though you have previously seen the people fleeing in terror, you think, oh, it's like a cool carnival with robots. This is actually kind of neat. I wonder why they're running away. And then bam!
Yes.
That'll do it.
Oh! And then during the credits, the still frames of when the carnival was being built and how it actually did go around bringing like joy and laughter to people for a long time. It's a fun commentary on on society, I think. The way you build things up and it works for a while and then it all goes to crap.
Yeah.
That's possibly a little too deep for it. I actually really enjoyed it just on the surface level of you think it's gonna be something good and no, it's bad.
I mean, I think it works on both levels. I mean, that's kind of Otomo's strength as a writer is you have your surface level like black comedy with like impeccable comic timing in every respect,
Yes.
and then you have this undercurrent of satire kind of lingering underneath.
That's a great way to put that.
All right. Next segment is Franken's Gears, which is a mad scientist tries to bring life with his robot with lightning, and things go badly.
I mean, when you build a robot to mimic your movements, don't trip.
This guy is the most mad scientist,
I think that's
scientist in the history of mad scientists.
Like, it was
I disagree
beautifully
because
animated, but
I would say I disagree with him being the most mad scientist in the history of mad science because we have one coming later.
Oh, okay, well. The way this guy was cackling and running around in his slippers and like
carrying a globe on his back.
he was in it, man.
Like, beautifully, aesthetically gorgeous. The lighting in this
a
one,
lot of
I think,
dramatic
was
lighting,
truly amazing.
which is hard to do.
But yeah, like there was not a lot of story here to analyze.
Yeah.
What if
Next-
instead of Frankenstein the man, Frankenstein the robot?
Yeah. Next segment is Deprive, which I would describe basically as 12 to 24, possibly even 52 episodes of anime told in about 4 to 6 minutes.
I feel like it could have been an 80s music video also. Something about it just said that to me.
Yeah, like no, this is also like one of the two most 80s segments of the series, or of the film, which as aliens attack Earth with robot foot soldiers and kidnap a bunch of people, including a young girl, her companion, who also they may have a crush on each other, is a robot or an android, but retains her locket. He then becomes a much more human-passing robot android and goes and rescues her after beating up the alien leader and his two generals. Again,
Gets young and hot and goes to save her.
He pulled a reverse Casher? Being a robot who rebuilt himself into a man to save the girl?
As a voracious reader of science fiction, way beyond my age level as a child, I can tell you that in the 80s there were actually quite a lot of young adult novels where the love interest was a robot. It was like a whole thing. Because we can't trust men. No, I'm sorry.
Bear don't care.
Yeah, no, sci-fi sentient robot lover. It's a thing. And I was like, clearly whoever made this was reading the same kinds of books. Like, do I have something in common with this animator?
It's okay. You share a preference with Tasha Yar. We get it. For another 80s cut.
On the other hand, it was a little bit it was a little bit stock, and it was a little bit like, let me show you all the cool things I can do. It felt like a resume for the animator.
Honestly, most of this movie felt like, most of these shorts felt like you were, it was finals day in your animation class and everyone's showing their projects.
Everyone's showing the reel, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That works.
But, I mean, essentially that is what this was, since, it's a bunch of people in the animation industry getting their first directorial shot, so.
Yeah, and a lot of these people, like, they done animation assistants work, or animation work, or like key animation or animation director work for stuff like, or portions of, like, Harmageddon, in the case of Otomo, or they've worked on, or we're in the process of working on Project Echo. This is another one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, everybody on, like, every major person on this project pretty much worked on Cream Lemon Part 4 Pop Chaser. Like,
but this kind of thing is really essential in the industry, actually. Like, people underestimate how difficult it is to present something in short format, because it all has to work. You don't have the time to waste, right?
Yeah.
Like, all these stories are functional stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
almost all these stories are functional stories.
One's a bit more experimental. But...
Yeah, like, again, like with this, when I say this is like a 24 to 52 episode shonen battle anime in 6 minutes. This isn't me being reductive. It's like all of the like hyper important plot beats that would be then expanded on and further developed over the course of a longer series are present here. Theoretically, like, he did, like, Omori, director of this one, Hidetoshi Omori, could have gone to like another studio or gone with APP to another studio and said, hey, we want to make this into a full series, and there's enough there, like, you can see what form this longer series would take.
Absolutely.
Also, like, shout out for these segments, by the way, it's important to mention, our composer for doing the music for this, Joe Hisaishi.
That's correct. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Studio Ghibli guy.
Yep.
He's so amazing.
All right.
Seriously.
Yep.
He's so amazing.
Next segment is Presence. This is probably our more actual, like, Franken's Gears is parody Universal Frankenstein. This is much more author, like the creator of the work read Frankenstein the novel and is going more off of that. This is directed by Yasuyumi Umetsu, who is director of, among numerous other things, Kite, Mezzo Forte, and other works. So this is the director who's known for lots of very violent but also like visually engaging works. He actually has a new short film out, Virgin Punk, which is going to be part of a longer series of movies. So he's still working, not just as an animator, but as a director. But this is not in the girls with guns style of thing. This is a very atmospheric, introspective take on the Frankenstein narrative, with a scientist who has built a robot girl, and when he learns that the girl is basically developing sentience and a soul and that sort of thing, freaks the fuck out.
Out of all of the stories, this one felt the most like a little sci-fi novella, a story that would be in a sci-fi writing anthology to me. And it's interesting that this is one of the ones that actually is fully voiced with dialogue. Because I do think the visuals do a lot of the heavy lifting here. Especially, there's a lot of close-ups on the protagonist's face to kind of demonstrate their mental state, which are very effective.
This is probably the one I disliked the most.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did not care for this one. Not sure why. Like,
was it the eyebrows?
No. This is the one that... I mean, aside from the fact that I don't think the character designer knows what old people look like, it was animated like it was a really bad old age makeup that was applied.
There's an unexplained time skip in there that took us a minute to catch up to, mentally.
Like, it's like, I don't, there's like nothing I can say that this was done bad or it's just, I didn't like this one.
I didn't mind it.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. It's not. It's technically very well done all around. I just didn't like it.
It's kind of like, this is the story of someone who, when they realize that they've trespassed into God's domain, actually does something about it, and destroys their creation.
They did the wrong thing. It's the straight Victor Frankenstein. The difference is that when this guy ran away, he made sure he wouldn't be followed.
Right. And then what are the consequences of that to him years later?
He's haunted.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting take.
I didn't like it. I don't. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But
yeah. All right. So our next segment is our other candidate for most 80s segment of the film, Starlight Angel.
I think this one was your favorite, actually, right, David?
I did love this one, and not just because it has the cast of Double Zeta Gundam playing all the characters. Because it does have that same character designer, and all the characters were reused for this.
Pretty Boy comes up on screen, and I'm like, David, he is a Char!
No, I was like, why is Char here? Not, like, I loved this one. It was such a classic. I even loved that, what we think is a robot is actually just the mascot. It's a guy in the mascot costume.
Yeah, the fake guy wrote. That was good. This one was all vibes. Yeah. And it nailed the vibe, so...
It was fun. Like, it was silly. It was fun. I loved this one. It was nonsense, and it was all the right kinds of nonsense.
Yeah, I like this one too. This is like, it is a nice, refreshing follow-up to Presence in terms of managing tonal levels of the story. Like, okay, we have this kind of dark, introspective story. Now here's this is a nice, clean glass of water, or some pickled ginger to snack on between courses.
Lighten it up.
I like pickled ginger.
Yeah. And speaking of vibes, next is Cloud. This is just by director Manobu Ohashi. Completely done by him, based apparently on a going by the liner notes on the Discodeck Media release, based on a picture book concept he had, and he decided to expand it more into an animated short.
This was clearly the most conceptual, right?
Yes, in this short story, he forgot to put in the story.
It's really loose and up to interpretation.
It's a robot walking in the same spot on the screen as the clouds are different. And it's called Clouds!
No,
this is the one I am the most dismissive of, yes.
Yeah. This one, my first couple times watching it, I was kind of meh about it. I've watched Robot Carnival. I think this is my fourth time so far, and from times three and four, I've kind of warmed up on it a little bit more. I have more of a sense of okay, here's kind of artistically what he's trying to do with the images that are in the clouds, and that sort of thing. It's I would say this is the closest to the art, capital A, art piece of this. I would say for those in the audience who are really up like this segment, like I would recommend the Genius Party and Genius Party Beyond anthology shorts. While those have or anthology films, while those will have more going on in their segments, those segments also do have more significant degree of abstraction to them, I would say. And like this is because this is also like the most abstract, relatively speaking, of the segments. Much more of, hey, putting things up for interpretation.
But there's some really interesting artistic choices that were made. Like I like how it was all really rough and sketchy looking, and I like how he played with the frame, different sizes and shapes of the frame on the screen to filling the whole screen. I think that was cool.
Yep.
I didn't necessarily get a narrative out of it, but I enjoyed watching
forgot the story. It almost felt wasteful because you've got 5 minutes and this is what you're turning in. I don't know.
Art's got to experiment, man.
Art is great at experiment. I mean, absolutely. I just think this one counts as a failed experiment.
Next segment, and this is where we get, I would say, to our most mad scientist of all mad scientists in this. Strange Tales of Meiji Machine Culture, Westerners Invasion. So I watched this I mentioned I watched this with my parents. Normally we watch stuff with the dub. Because of this segment, I insisted in watching it subtitled because I think the joke works better. The jokes works better when you have the characters speaking 2 different languages.
The dub was not great anyway.
Yeah.
This felt offensive to everyone involved. It's like, I don't think anyone comes out looking well in this. It's like, this is anti-West, but it's also not pro-Japan at all.
It was like mocking a propaganda film almost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It still felt kind of like a propaganda film.
Yeah, it felt like a propaganda film that they weren't sure who it was supposed to be that they were villainizing.
Yeah, so
Is it the dumb kids? Is it the crazy foreigner?
He was very cray-cray.
I think the answer is yes. It's like everyone here is a bunch of losers, a bunch of morons and losers, and like the problem of this one is a mad science that's set in like 1800s, like Meiji era Japan. A Westerner mad scientist and his steam-powered giant robot plans to take over Japan, but is challenged by locals with their own steam-powered giant robot. Neither of which are actually particularly good at fighting each other.
Began life as a festival float, they said.
And like...
It's like, what festival is that walking to in? How is it moving? Like, it can't move without destroying the city around it.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like that is to a degree a big chunk of the joke is like, no, actually both these sides actually kind of suck. They're both kind of chuckleheads.
Yeah.
Like, I think like there's a joke at the end of it where I'm like, well, we beat the foreigner's robot, and that part of the neighborhood isn't that totally destroyed.
Oh, we missed that part over there. Yeah. Kind of poking at jingoism in a way.
Like,
yeah.
The Westerner mad scientist had that you said the name and I forgot it. The guy who ties people to the train tracks mustache.
Snidely Whiplash.
Thank you. I thought that was a nice animation.
Also with the character with the heroic air quotes heroic Japanese characters, like they get like the female male leads like stop the fight for a moment to get basically the dueling tsundere dating argument, and while everyone else is like, oh, for crying out loud, people, we're trying to fight here.
They're like, not again. Clearly they're always like this. Yeah. Yeah, I had a hard time with the dub though because I was like constantly like, wait, what did they just say? Because they're obliged to speak so quickly because all of this is going by at a really rapid pace as part of the vibe, and yeah, I was like, we should just put the subtitles on.
Yeah. Whereas in the Japanese audio, the Japanese character speaks Japanese, the foreign character speaks English.
Is it proper English, or is it a Japanese actor trying to do English?
It is proper English with an English actor credited as James R. Bowers.
All right then.
Like, and who was like clearly going, oh, I'm playing a mad scientist. I need to try and like, while my character's name is sort of American, I'm going to try and put on like a bit of a mad scientist accent with this as well. So like, it is like everyone is in on the joke on the Japanese audio as well.
Not?
And our final story, Chicken Man and Wet Redneck. This is Night on Bald Mountain, but with robots.
Yeah, beautifully done.
Yeah, it was fun.
It wore its influences on its sleeve.
That poor drunk guy. I was like, oh man, this is a bad trip.
I don't know what I took, but I'm never taking it again.
Yeah.
I am never going to that bar again. I'm going to that hostess club and kabuki show ever again.
Oh man. Yeah, it was cool. There was a lot of cool design elements with the different robots and the silhouettes that they made. I thought the use of silhouetting was really effective. And the, city at night cyberpunk vibe. And the way it was very surreal because there were no other people. There was just Chicken Man. You're like, where'd everybody go?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Like the music in this particularly stands out because like I remember seeing commercials for Robot Carnival on Sci-Fi Channel's Saturday anime block. In fact, I might even for the interstitial, rather than using just the music from the show, might just use the audio from the Sci-Fi Channel advertisement. But they use the music from this segment pretty heavily for it. And I think also for like their animation block in general, eventually was like, okay, this is our, like, this music represents what we're trying to get across for the Sci-Fi Channel anime block. So yeah, like this was great. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Like of the this is kind of a great start for, I guess I call the Otomo anthology. Quadrilogy is not actually the correct word, but I forget what the correct prefix is.
Tetralogy?
Tetralogy, thank you. Because this Neo Tokyo,
versus Greek.
Neo Tokyo Memories and Short Piece. Like this is like, I appreciate what I like about the anthology format thing is, if a story doesn't land for you, it's okay. Wait 5 minutes, wait 6 minutes. The next story will start, and that'll have something.
I think anthologies play a deeply important role in creative spaces because creatives need time to, or places, I guess I should say, third places to experiment on things where it's not all on the line, right? And anthologies are usually where that ends up happening, and so you get to see some really cool stuff. Or read. There's great anthology books out there too.
Yeah, and I mean, and some of the parts of these various anthology shorts have gotten significant recognition. For example, to go back to Short Piece for a moment, one of the segments there, the first segment of like the first major segment of that one, got nominated for an Academy Award for Best Animated Short. In fact, I think part of the reason why the Best Animated Short field has category in like the Academy Awards and other similar awards has persisted for so long is because they make for such a great mechanism and avenue for experimentation for creators. And so, like, yeah, if anyone who's listening to this episode, if you liked Robot Carnival, like, Neo Tokyo is currently on Crunchyroll right now. Memories is one of the ones to believe is also available more or less anywhere. Like, I want to say it's like that one's on Tubi and Peacock, like, and other streaming services as well. So, like, definitely worth picking that one up, or giving that one a watch. And there's also the Genius Party short collections, which have been gone off and on, and there is the Genius Party and Genius Party Beyond, and also there was the Japan Animator Expo shorts, which also had some really great stuff. Speaking of which, again, like with these short collections, like some major directors like Masaki Yuasa got their start doing these anthologies. Otomo, we wouldn't necessarily have, he got his feet wet doing actual direction with Akira, with Robot Carnival and Neo Tokyo, so he could then go on and do Akira. Yuasa has a tremendous career. Yuasa, go back to this for a second. Umetsu had an excellent career that starts out here with Robot Carnival. Even other aspects. Mahiro Maeda, the guy who did the Gankutsuo anime we watched earlier this year, wasn't heavily involved with Strange Tales of Meiji Machine Culture. Also, Yoshiyuki Sadamoto, who did Nadia and Evangelion character designs, also did character designs for Strange Tales of Meiji Machine Culture. So yeah, great stuff. Like, watch anthology films, watch animation anthology and films in particular.
Yeah, definitely.
Any final thoughts on Robot Carnival?
You know, what I want to call it is a film history movie. Like, this is the kind of movie that I think should show up more in film history classes, because it ties into the history of sci-fi and the history of animation, and gives you a portal into the work of a lot of these directors who then go on to do other seminal works like Akira. But also, yeah, I do think anthologies are slept on. I think people need to watch a lot more of them, and we need to help fund a lot more of them in the arts, because I think that it's such an important creative space. And it, like you said, it's also just kind of nice to sit down and watch something that you know is going to be, you know, not a huge chunk out of your day, and you can enjoy a story without giving up a significant amount of your time. Because let's face it, we're all so stupid busy. Like, but we want to be cultured, and we want to enjoy great art and good stories. And anthologies fit in perfectly with that. Mm-hmm.
Now, I do appreciate that, like, I know that in the horror space, anthology has persisted very well. Like, you have the VHS series of anthologies. Again, nice thing with an anthology collection, if one chunk misses, we move on to the next.
And it's a great place to discover new people to follow, like new favorite directors, new favorite authors, new favorite animators.
Mm-hmm. Oh, next month is January, and so for Lunar New Year, we like to try and step outside of regular Japanese animation and do works that are having either that are an adaptation of an anime or manga or a co-promotion. And next month, we are stepping into K-dramas with Boys Over Flowers, a adaptation of a romantic comedy manga from Shonen Jump, of all places.
I have read and watched every adaptation.
This is true.
I'm sorry. The Taiwanese one is particularly good. Okay, sorry, continue.
And this is available for streaming on Prime. It's available for streaming on the Roku channel, on Viki, on Asian Crush, on Tubi, on Plex, if you're a subscriber. So you have options for how to watch this show. I have read some of the manga as well, so I look forward to having that point of comparison. But I also look forward to you bringing your expertise both in terms of K-drama and in terms of Boys Over Flowers.
This is the trash that I live in. I am the raccoon in this can. Not to devalue soaps and stuff that girls like, because I do think it's important to media, but yeah. I'll admit that a lot of it is not highbrow entertainment. Meh. I'm actually watching a new K-drama right now.
This is true.
I mean, it's all right. I mean, one of the other podcasts I listen to is NPR's Pop Culture Happy Hour podcast, and they recently did an episode on the HBO Max adaptation of what they refer to as a 4 or 5 chili pepper romance novel series, Heated Rivalry, which
you gotta rate spice level.
Yeah, which led to some discourse on Annie Blue Sky, over like, hey, is it okay if the normies, because of Heated Rivalry, ended up discovering what fujoshi are?
I mean, we all must expand our horizons sometime, and if we become scarred for life as a result, well, that's why we forget things. Like, for me, it's the Omegaverse. I'd rather scour that from my brain, but hey, here we are.
Yeah. Except there are Omegaverse anime.
Of course.
Yeah, the anime has entered the Omega.
We're not here to judge.
We are
Actually, we're exactly here to judge.
It's impossible not to.
That's exactly why we're here, is to judge.
But I'm no better, and I know it.
But we're not here to be judgy.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, we're here to judge, but we're here to diplomatically provide artistic criticism on the works in which we are watching, but without necessarily being spiteful or judgy about it, or about the creators of the work or those who are enthusiasts of it, unless with certain specific exceptions.
I'm not going to say that all art is valuable, but I am going to say that you can mine conversations of value out of almost all art. Like, it's hard for me to think of something that you can't have meaningful discussion about. And that's kind of, at the end of the day, that's the point, right? If we treat this stuff as valuable of discussion and not just for mindless consumption, that's the difference between art and product, even if the art was made for the purpose of making money.
Absolutely. Like for all the terrible things all the things you can say about how Handshakers is a terrible work of fiction, and I will refer people to the Anime World Order podcast episode about that, because having heard enough about it, I think I can safely say I don't want to watch Handshakers. But I can reasonably say that Handshakers is bad at a level that can lead to productive, interesting, engaging, and deeply entertaining conversations over how that work is a spectacular dumpster fire full of fireworks.
Sometimes you need one of those to bring people together.
Just remember, sometimes there is media that is not to be set down lightly. It is to be thrown with great force. All right.
And with that, we will leave that this work, which is in fact to be appreciated and enjoyed, and wish you all a very safe and happy new year. Then thank you all very much for listening. And if you enjoyed this episode of the podcast and our past episodes, please consider backing our Patreon at patreon.com/count0or. Patreon backers get access to edited version of the streams of the podcast up to 1 week of that. I'm sorry, I'm doing the spiel from my stream the night before. I'm going to leave that in because that's an entertaining flub. And yeah, so you get access to my edited Let's Plays, these podcasts, my written essays, video essays, all of them up to 1 week in advance. And if doing the monthly subscription thing through Patreon doesn't fit your budget, that's okay. I have a Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/count0, which will also work as well. Anything you toss in the tip jar will help with hosting. One quick little bit of business, which I won't bring up now. So I got approved for advertising for the podcast on Libsyn. So there are currently ads. The versions that will be going out to Patreon backers will be ad-free. So I'll be making sure to put that. I'll try to put the past episodes up to Patreon as well. This also means if an ad comes up that is no bueno, please let me know at animeexplorationspod.gmail.com, both in terms of any feedback for the podcast itself. We'll go get through there is appreciated. And if you get an ad that is not good, let me know so I can take that up with Libsyn and we can get that taken care of. We did actually have some, also bring it up in, I don't know if the ads from Libsyn show up on the YouTube version. If they do, post in the comments and say, hey, I got an ad for X or Y or whatever. I probably won't, because usually the way these things work is they apply the ads when you download the podcast, so it's something topical. But anyway, let me know. And since these do go up on YouTube as well, feel free to post in the comments there if you're listening to it through the YouTube video content. We actually did have some comment discussion about the first Fate Stay Night anime. Generally saying, hey, they viewers viewing that was that series is underrated. And again, I like to think they've got across that it is a good jumping on point to the Fate franchise, and I do think it conveys the humor in some respects better than some of the later series. So
it's very self-important.
Oh yeah. But again, next month, once again, we'll be watching Boys Over Flowers, the K-drama version. So this is the first big K-drama that I have really I'll be watching at length. So I'm looking forward to venturing into this world. So again,
this is a good one to start with. It's like the drama.
All right. Well, thank you all very much for listening, and we will be back in your eardrums next month.